The Cubs have made the call to Cade Horton. Not a huge surprise. Top pitching prospect by far in the entire organization, and a guy who was dominant this year in AAA, coming off of an injury last year, probably would be in the rotation right now. So let's talk Cade Horton. What does this mean to the Cubs roster, and how excited are you guys, and me too, to have this guy, potential star, enter the fray for the Cubs in the wake of a Justin Steele injury that's going to keep him out for the entire year, and then Shōta Imanaga out right now with a hamstring injury that is going to keep him out at least 2 weeks. Let's talk about it here on the Cubs Baseball channel. Like, subscribe, thumbs up. Let's go. What do you say, everybody? Welcome to the Cubs Baseball channel. And if this is your first time here, thank you for swinging over. I'm Mick Gillespie. Been a Cubs fan since '84, worked with the organization since 2007. So been there, done that, and had some ups and had some downs, a lot of downs, and of course 2016, and hoping that we get back there again soon. So if you're new, thank you for being here. And for those of you that hang with us on a daily basis, hey, welcome back. All right, we got this breaking news right now. And that is that Cade Horton, who we kind of suspected was going to be given the opportunity to get into the rotation and help the Cubs, is going to get that opportunity. Things seem to really line up for him. When Shōta went down, they seemed to be on the same schedule. And so he'll be thrown right into the fire. And we'll see what happens. You know, Craig Counsell, when we were kind of talking on one of our shows last week about a soft landing spot, made reference to the fact that this is the big leagues and you pitch against who you pitch against, and every week's going to have a tough lineup. And that kind of gave me an insight that, hey, if he gets called up, could be against the Mets, could be against anybody, that you just don't always get a chance to pick and choose. But the Cubs need this guy to be the player that he can definitely be. And I'm going to tell you guys about him and why I think he has the potential to be a star in this rotation. Now, he's the number 2 Cubs prospect, according to a lot of the publications. He should have been in the big leagues last year, but dealt with some injuries. Now, his first injury was in college at Oklahoma. He underwent Tommy John surgery in 2021. That made him a redshirt that season, and then stayed relatively healthy throughout his career until last year. Had a subscapularis strain. I hope I said that right. So that kind of helped shut him down. Right lat strain was part of that as well. So both of those happened in his season last year in June, and then they shut him down. And they wanted to be very careful with him. And over the years, and I don't think it's the case as much now as it was, but there was a time when I felt like the Cubs had a problem developing pitching because they didn't want to let the starters pitch. They were so worried about pitch counts, exceeding pitch counts, innings counts, that the guys never had an opportunity to get out there and learn. You know, you when you're a starter, you need to go through the lineup 3 times in the minor leagues, so that when you get to the big leagues, if they want you to pitch 6 innings, you're ready for that. They didn't have that opportunity. They weren't giving them that. Well, with this guy, I said, hey, I get it with the other guys. Let them pitch through. Let them figure it out. Put bubble wrap on Horton, because you could already tell that this guy had star written all over him. Now, I'm going to tell you why I think he is going to be a stud in the big leagues. And I don't know if it's going to be now or down the road, but there's a few reasons. First off, it starts with his slider. The guy can command his slider like a wiffle ball pitcher, like your dad pitching wiffle balls to you in the backyard. I could never figure out how he could make the wiffle ball look like it was going to hit me in the side of the cheek, and then it drops in for a strike. You know, he'd hit the chair that we'd use as a strike zone. Horton's able to control a baseball like that. And the slider, if it looks like it's going to be a ball, it ends up being a strike. If it looks like it's going to be a strike, it's going to be a ball. He can go up, he can go down with it. He can even change speeds with it, which is really phenomenal. He's got one of the best sliders that you're ever going to see. And he pitches off of the slider a lot. But that's not all. He's got a really good curveball. Is it a great curveball? No, but it's a really good curveball. And that sometimes, for me, it's hard to tell the difference between the slider and the curveball, just because of the fact that they both move so much. So when you're watching it on film, it's easier, but when you're in person, it's like, man, this one's doing this and this one's kind of doing this, but they're doing different things, different speeds. He started to work on and has almost mastered the changeup. And to me, the changeup is, I think it's the equalizing pitch against any hitter, because change of speeds, when you look at, like, let's just say Jake Arrieta. I saw Jake Arrieta when the Cubs got him from Baltimore pitching. I saw the changeup. It reminded me of Randy Wells. You guys remember Randy Wells, very good pitcher. Not great, but good, but had an amazing changeup. And then with all the other stuff that Arrieta did with that changeup, he was really tough to hit. The changeup, to me, is a pitch that's going to get you through some tough times. And I love the fact that Horton's developed a really good changeup. Now, his fastball is his lowest rated pitch. And I think the reason why is that there's not a ton of movement on it. But what I love about him and his fastball is that when he's locating it, he's not afraid to pitch inside, pitches with a little ferociousness, and it doesn't let batters get comfortable at the plate. So even though he's not throwing 100 miles an hour, and I'm guessing that fastball is like 96, right? Maybe like in the 96 zone, around there. Maybe it tops out at 97. I don't know, but I think it's under that. It's his ability to come inside, and you're never comfortable because so many of the pitches look like they're going to hit you and they don't. And then all of a sudden, here comes the fastball. I better get out of the way. So you're never really comfortable at the plate as a hitter. And I feel like that is one of the things that makes him so good, is that football mentality. And you guys know this, and maybe if you don't, that he's 23 years old. He's from Norman, Oklahoma. He went to Norman High School. He was a super football and baseball star. He was a highly recruited quarterback, signed to go to Oklahoma as a walk-on. And his senior year at Norman, threw for over 3,000 yards, had 26 touchdowns to only 7 interceptions. But he also ran for 1,150 yards and 15 touchdowns. And he was the Oklahoma Gatorade Player of the Year, because not only was he a great football player, but he hit 375. And that was before the season was canceled because of COVID. So he kind of ran into it at the wrong time at 2020. But great athlete, and someone that just brings that football mentality to the Chicago Cubs. Now, he was the Cubs' first-round pick, 7th overall in 2022. They paid him $4.45 million to sign with the team. And then when he came up through the system, you're watching this guy and you're going, okay, wait a second. This is a pitching prospect if I've ever seen one. He was the guy that started the clinching game for the Tennessee Smokies, his Double-A team, in 2023, and he blew away the competition to lead them to their first championship since 1978. You're talking about a franchise like the Cubs that had one of the longest droughts in minor league baseball, helped them snap that. So he pitches big in big games. To me, the biggest thing to watch for him is first pitch strikes. I like it when he throws first pitch strikes. When he falls behind, he becomes a little more predictable. But when he throws those first pitch strikes, he is so tough, because then all of a sudden you're thinking change up, you're thinking slider, you're thinking curveball, and then you got to watch out for the fastball as well. So where do I think he's going to end up slotting for the Cubs? I don't know how this first round is going to go. The transition from the minor leagues to the big leagues has gotten a lot tougher for mostly for position players, I feel like, but part of it is that he's facing, a really tough lineup out of the chute, right? But these are the toughest lineups he's ever going to face. I'm sure he'll have some adrenaline going. I think when he starts to get it figured out, he stays healthy, I don't think he's going to be a bust. I don't see it taking forever, like Caleb Killian, like Hayden Wesneski. He's got better stuff than those guys. He's got better stuff than Ben Brown, a much higher rated prospect to me than those guys. And that's not a shot at Ben or any of those guys. I'm just telling you, this guy is Pryor Wood type stuff. And if he can get out there, get comfortable, and start to know that he belongs, once he figures out how things work at the big leagues, I love the idea of having him pitch in between Shōta and Justin Steele eventually. And obviously that won't be this season, but I think he's got that potential. This is front end of the rotation stuff. So can't wait. You guys get in the comments section. Tell me what you think. Big day for the Cubs. They have drafted and developed a guy that is ready to star, and we'll see if he can do it. I really believe that in the long term, I don't know what's going to happen in his first few starts, but I think in the long term, he is going to be an absolute star. Thanks for being here. Like and subscribe. Make sure that you follow the channel, and we'll see what happens, man. Fingers crossed. Go Cade Horton.